Hi everyone, it's Beverly Cole. Welcome back to my RV and my channel. My cats have really been enjoying watching me make these little balls, and I have been having fun making different things with them. I have gone from making ornaments to making pages in my journal. The first thing that I actually made, I was thinking of making an ornament, but I got a little bit carried away and ended up making this beautiful thing. I have it hanging in my RV, and believe it or not, my cats haven't even noticed it, which is a miracle to me. But I made it with what I had. I printed out some of my papers and used an old necklace and some baker's twine and a bell that I had. I love it. I love it. I glued in between here with, please excuse my messy bottle, my art glitter glue. Stuff works so great, and it dries pretty quickly. As I glued these together, they dried really, really fast. I thought it would be fun to try making something for a journal. So I opened up my journal and I made these little faces. And you know these faces. You know them. They are my AI collage faces. Made them with the help of artificial intelligence, which sounds so kind of freaky, but it was fun. And I used the square that was punched out around it to add it to this page. But the problem with these is that you have to kind of flatten them before you turn the page. So, you know, when I'm laying in bed, middle of the morning, middle of the night, whatever you want to call it, and I had a light bulb go off over my head. And I said, well, the problem is I didn't make it big enough, right? So I put this one right here in my page. And these are cut from some graphic 45 paper, vintage Hollywood, I believe it's called. I was using punches for these here. I was cutting these out with a stencil, which was work. And they didn't come out as neatly matching up. See how they don't really quite match up? But I wasn't worried about that. Now this one here, same thing. I had to use a stencil, and you can see again, cutting by hand is a little rough. But these smaller ones on here were made with a punch. That was my biggest punch. Now in my RV, I didn't have everything, but we went back to our house the other day to kind of trade out some stuff and empty the attic and things like that. And I was able to get my big kick machine and my dies. I was able to cut this with my big kick, which is right over here. So all of these I cut out with dies. The only thing I did on this page that is kind of floppy, not sloppy, but floppy, is that when I open this page kind of does this. The next time I do this page, I'll reinforce it and it won't be so, because this is just a piece of, what do you call it, tracing paper that I avocado dyed, so it's kind of flimsy. Also, I added this bell up here and a little tassel down here, and I used that same glue, which dries really quickly. How do we do these things? The nice thing about this is that you can make these so they're not Christmas. You could make these for, say, just winter. So I'm thinking that's what we will do as one of our projects today, is make one that is just winter. To make any of these, you're going to need punches or die cuts, or if you have a Cricut, you can cut them on that, or a silhouette. You can cut your own circles. I have one, but I don't have it here with me in the RV. It's just too many things right now. I'd have to switch it out with other things that I already have with me. So you're going to need some glue, and like I said, this one works great. If you want to use a glue that gives you a little more wiggle room, you will have to wait longer for the things to dry, but you might have more time to match them up. To make one of these little balls, you'll need at least 4 punched out shapes, but the little ones, I believe I used 10. So I'm going to just punch out 10 circles. And these would make great gifts too. After you punch these 10, you're going to fold them in half, and you want to get that as neat as you can. Please excuse my nails. I've been gardening, and I've been doing some inking the edges of things in the book there with ink. So yeah, working hands, man. You just do this with all of them. Oh boy, JJ's looking interested. JJ, you can't come up here right now. Really, Jay. And if you're interested in these papers that I used to make this one, I'm going to put them in my Ko-fi shop, download them, and print them out. These are printed on cardstock. So the way they're going to go together is back to back. So I'm just going to put some glue here. Take the next one and line it up. Like that. Like I said, this glue dries super fast. You want this edge to be flat together. And I just rub it on the table to make sure. You want everything lined up as close as possible. And then the next one. Until you have all 10 glued together. Now, if you had a design on your papers, you would fold them with the design on the inside. You would fold the design here and the plain side here, or the side that you weren't having show. If you have cardstock that has a design on both sides, one side will not show. Make sure you have it the right way. So you see there, that's part of it. And this is about as much as I used to make this. I only used 4 faces because I only had 4 faces on the set of cardstock I had, but I think for this project, this looks perfect. So that's all that was, just glued down like that. Look at that glitter. It's just coming off everywhere. I don't know if that was such a good idea. My husband's like, look at the glitter all over the floor. Okay, so let's continue with this. Then we have the next one. I always add the glue to the one that's going to be added. I don't know why, but that's just how I do it. Doesn't mean that's how you have to do it, but I find it easier. Oh my goodness, JJ, what do you want? Okay, like I said, always see how that's kind of lopsided? You want to make sure they're straight. So I kind of just push them down on the table, fiddle with them. And this is where I'm saying, if you feel like you need a glue that's going to stay wet longer, by all means do that. I just don't. I just like the glue to dry as quickly as possible so I can continue with the craft. Make sure you find the one where you left off. Oops. Here we go, right here. Glue the next one. And continue. So what I'm going to do now is just attach the last 2. And as I work, I do kind of try to keep them separated in case they want to start sticking together. Just separate them every once in a while you're building it, just to make sure they're not glued together where they shouldn't be. All right, let's see. What did I just do? I think I just made a mistake. But, you know, life happens. Let's see. Where are we? Is that the ones? No, see, that's not the right ones. Oh my goodness, really? Okay. It was these 2. Even I make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. Isn't that cute? And I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for this. And now we're going to make this size. I just want to show you that, again, when you have a design on one side, you want to go ahead and fold it so the design is on the inside, because you're going to glue them together this way. And make sure you do each one individually. If you try to do more than one together, they're not going to line up right. Just make sure every one is done separately. Like that. So we're going to make this one black and white in different combinations. After I fold each one of these, I'm going to do every other one this way. The next one will be white. Attached to the black and white one. Another black and white one. Make sure you attach it to the right side so they're every other one. Like that. Now we have all 10. Every other one is white, every other one is checkers. And now these two get glued together. And there should be a little hole in the middle when you finish. There should be. See the hole? See here, there's a hole in the center. You need that hole, so don't worry. Don't worry, it's supposed to be that way. Okay, so here we go. Isn't that cute? Just love them. They're so cute. I have 3 done. 3 small ones. I need 5 small ones. I have them all punched out, and then I have 2 big ones that are black and white, check, and white. So that way we'll have as many as we have on my sample. I'll be right back. So I have all of my balls ready to go. They're all made the same exact way. And I have 2 needles, a bigger needle and a smaller needle. I have my necklace here of beads that I'm going to use to build this. And I have some black and white baker's twine. I made the baker's twine last time 3 times the length of all the balls lined up. So since I have this one already made, I think that should be easy to just make this the same length. Better to have too much than not enough and have to start all over again. Speaking of which, we're going to start at the top. So I just have to decide where I want my paper balls to line up. I have some plain white ones. I have a plain black and white one and 2 that are multicolored. I'm going to put the black and white one in the middle. And then I'll put a white one and a black and white one on each end. I tried using a big needle at first, but the beads wouldn't go over this. After several changes in needles, I decided on this one. And there we go. So at the top, I'm going to make a loop, simple loop right here, just a single knot. That's all I need right there, okay? And then I'm going to trim off some of this. Now later, I'll put a dab of glue there when I'm done. Make sure it doesn't come out. This is just a broken necklace. And I'm going to slide it all the way to where I made that knot. Okay, right there. Now the next thing we're going to do is take the first ball, and that's this one right here, and I'm going to put that needle right through the middle, comes out the other end, and that goes up to that bead. Now I add a little dot of glue there between the bead and my ball, just to hold it in place. This glue is excellent for this because it dries so fast. Then the next thing we do is another bead. Some of them are still on the string, so funny. I reach in there and I end up with a whole bunch of necklace in my hand. I lace another bead, put a little bit more glue. The reason I do that is just to keep it from sliding around. You don't have to do that, but I just feel that it's gonna look nicer. Now I'm gonna add the next ball, which is a plain white one. Add the glue. And this glue dries clear. Okay, then I add another bead. And you could do this with buttons if you wanted to, or paper beads, anything, wooden beads, anything you have that would look pretty in between and that you can lace onto this string. I'm at the big ball. Now the thing with the big ball is this needle will not make it through that ball. So this is a little bit of extra fiddliness, but it needs to be done, has to be done. They roll around so funny. So I got my big needle. This one's probably 2 inches long. And this one indeed will, if I just fold it, it'll go right through that eye because it's a big eye in that needle. Okay, so this will go through a big ball because it's long. See, there's the point, and I can just simply grab that and lace on the next ball right there. This is going to be so pretty. Now another bead. So now I have to switch back to the other. You see, I could try. I'll show you why I have to switch. If I can find the hole. Yeah, see, it just won't go. Won't go through there. Oh, you simply have to switch out the needle, which isn't that much work. It really isn't. You can actually trim it on an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but that's an angle. Moisten it again, flatten it. And I take a couple tries. I do have a needle threader, but I am pretty lazy, so I don't really want to go get it. There we go. Now another bead. Little glue. Like I said, you don't have to do that. That's just so far. Now you could stop right there. Whoopsie. I didn't glue the other one. You could stop right here and make a really cute ornament or a decoration for a package. I think they'd be fabulous because it's something they're going to keep. They're going to keep it. 3 beads. 1, 2, 3. I think I'm going to skip the glue for now and glue them all at the end. It's easier that way. Then we do the ball in the middle that is all black and white check. So this needle will fit through that. And then 3 more beads. One. 2. Whoops, come on now. 3. And then one more time, we have to switch out the needle. And pull the thread all the way through. And then one more time, take off this large needle so that I can string beads. Okay, now after this one, it's only 1 bead. And then I only have 2 more little balls left, so I'm going to use this white one next. And then another bead. And then my last black and white paper ball. They look like almost like little beach balls. And I need to put a bead at the very end. And then if I like some other little thing that I can add. Well, I found this little charm with a bee on it, which is my initial. And I think it would look really cute on here. And hopefully make it dangle. I want to put my needle back up through that bead After I looped the little charm on, push it back up through that bead. Like so. And then up through this paper ball. And then I'm going to pull that down and just add some glue here. I don't know if you can see that. Add some glue to that loop and then pull it back up into the ball. Like so. So now I'm here. And I could go up higher, but I don't think I need to, so I'm just going to trim it right there. And once that glue dries, it should hold everything in place. Let's just go over a few things. When you put your balls together, you want to make sure that they all line up nice and neatly as much as possible. If they don't worry about it. I have even gone so far on this one to take a nail file and I just sanded all the edges, which actually makes it look more vintage when you think about it, because you've kind of worn down the edges, okay? Remember that the needle needs to go through the beads, so make sure you have one that will go through your beads, and that for your long pieces, unless you figured out another way, maybe with I don't know, with a crochet hook, I don't know, to go through those big balls. Now let's measure these, just so you know. I never told you any measurements. First of all, my punch is 1 3/8 inches, just so you know, as a reference to the size of this. These are 1 3/8 inches. I tried making smaller ones. Very difficult to line up with my glue. If you want to give it a try, I would love to see and hear anything that you have managed to make with any of these. This ball here looks like 2 3/4 inches for these. Now this one is made with 3 different colors. So when you do that, you might end up with the same color. It might not go like, for instance, white, green, red, white, green, red, white, green, red. I'm not quite sure if it does that all the way around, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, I'm even having a hard time figuring that out just looking at it. What I really love about these is that they are easy to make and they're very pretty. I'm gonna hang this one up in here. Now, one other thing I want to show you is faces that I printed out to do the same thing that I did in my book. And I used I believe it's a 4-inch circle. Let me see. Let's look at the book. Yeah, I used my biggest one, which is 4 inches. And when I put these on in my computer and sized them, I wanted to make sure each one was going to be 4 inches, but I think I printed them too close together. I should have spaced them out with some space in between, which I did do on these smaller ones. I put space between so that I could fit these. I wasn't thinking when I did this, so I'm going to go a little smaller. 3 3/4 should do it. Yeah, so I'm going to make each one 3 3/4. To run them through my die cut machine, I need to cut this in half because this paper will not fit. And you don't want to double them up and try to cut 2 at once, because what happens is you could be off on one of them and then you'll be unhappy. I want you to be happy. I'm happy. Put the die on there and decide, let's see, I think I want her chin. So I'm going to go just below her chin, and I take a piece of washi tape to make sure this is in the right place. What happens is with the die, it's underneath here, so you're going to want to get it close to her chin, and then we'll just put that piece of washi there to hold that on and run it through, which I'm doing right over here off camera. Got it set up right next to me. We gently peel that tape off so we don't pull off any design, which I haven't done that yet. I haven't pulled off any design yet. Okay, so there's our first one, and we did get her chin. Yay. Do the same exact thing to the other 3. This 4 faces. All we do is same thing we did before. And I want to fold them right in the middle of her chin as best I can. You want to get them as close as you can to being identical. I'm just laying this one on here to get my mark. To start folding, and then I'll fold, and they're going to go like this. Let's do that again, just to get it where we want it. Not necessarily perfect, perfectly unperfect is fine. One's a little off, so what I'll do is put her on the outside. So I find the one I like the best, including how I cut. You see these have a little white at the bottom. I can cover that up with some ink if I want to, but I want this to be my center. Or was it only 3? You know, I'm thinking now, wait a second. Nope, it was only 3. Look at this. I don't know why I was thinking 4. Here's the one I already did. And it's 3. 1, 2, 3, so that we have 1 in the middle. So you need to make it an odd number. You could make it 5, you could make it 7. I'm gonna make it 3. So I have an extra, yay. So this is my middle one. And I'm gonna glue this one to one side. Okay, we have one over here, one over here. This is my middle one. So now I'll add one on this side. Here we have 3. 1, 2, 3. That's it. I'm going to find a book to put it in. I don't want to put it in the same book. Perhaps this one. Notice I have space. I don't want to put it where I have a lot of space. It needs to be attached to both sides. So you're going to want to find a page where you have like this. Let's see. Pinkish color there to go with all this blue. Maybe I could, or green, I could add some ink to make her a color. So I do have my distressings with me. This one might be pretty. This has a little bit of brown on it, but I'm gonna go ahead and use it anyway. And I'm using peeled paint. Boy, that's an oldie but a goodie, I think. So what I'm gonna do is just give her a green. And see how that, much better, much better. Just give her a green glow. Okay, so that's what's nice about black and white. You can go ahead and you can change the color. If you don't have the right color cardstock, go ahead and do this. Okay, so I'm gonna add her here. And what I'm going to do is add it right into the middle. Now you could also add a piece of ribbon or twine down the middle to add a little decoration like I did in the other book. Now this time we're just going to keep it simple because this video is long enough. Okay, so right here, glue one side, and I'm going to put some glue right down the middle so we get that right into the crux of the page. Oopsie, she's upside down. Make sure I'm right set up. Okay, yeah. All right, so she's right in there. Get her in there, jam her in there. Her or whoever, whatever you put. You know, it doesn't have to be a face. It could be a flower, it could be anything. But you know how I love faces. And then we'll glue this one. The same way. And there she is. So I hope this video was helpful and you enjoy it. And see you after the holidays. Bye.